Oh, shoot.
Maybe a little bit lower this time because I'm still getting your beard scratching it. All right. Sounds like a grown man going up and down.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the xSports Network.
Great food is just a short drive to Hinie's BBQ in Lawrenceburg. Mouth-watering is just one way to describe the amazing flavors of the best piece of Hinie in town when you dig into a plate of pulled pork, hand-chopped brisket, chicken, wood-fire oven pizzas, and the menu goes on. Wash it all down with a swig of Hinie Shine lemonade and then make your way over to the gift shop full of Hinie sauces, snacks, and more. Hinie's BBQ, Highway 43 North in Lawrenceburg.
Hey y'all, Fred Webb here, United Country Southern Tennessee Realty. You get ready to sell your property, give one of these sales professionals a call today.
Hunter Webb, Farm and Land Sales Specialist, 931-321-8226.
Tommy Johnson, the Wayne County Connection, 931-722-4840.
Tyler Webb, 731-438-2084.
It's a slam dunk when you list with United Country Southern Tennessee Realty.
Are you busy at home or at the office and can't get away for your favorite meal? Simply pick up the phone and call Wright's Delivery Service. Locally owned, locally operated, fast, friendly, and reliable. Phone 256-762-3031 or visit WDSordering.com.
Hi, I'm Jody, owner of Sassy Southern Designs, located at 1294 First Avenue, right behind McDonald's here in Lawrenceburg. We carry ladies' clothing size small to 5X. We would love to have you come out and shop with us for the holidays. We get new arrivals in every week. And shop small, shop local. We love supporting our local families here in Lawrence County as well. So we hope to see you this holiday season.
It's never too late to change your career or to go back to school. The decision to go back to school wasn't easy. Look at me, a wife, a mother, a degree in dental for 17 years. But here I am at LTC, studying towards a career in cosmetology, and it's been the best decision I have ever made.
Financial advisor Scott Beasley knows time spent with family is everything. As a founder of Beasley Wealth Management, his mission is to give clients the freedom to enjoy time with family without the burden of financial concerns. A local of Lawrenceburg, Scott deeply values building relationships with clients, ensuring they make informed decisions concerning asset management, tax planning, and retirement planning. Offering a free initial consultation, Beasley Wealth Management helps clients pursue their aspirations with confidence.
From the xSports Network, this is xSports Live, presented by Hinie's BBQ.
And welcome everybody back here to Hinie's BBQ in time for xSports Live once again. This is AJ Good, joined alongside by Dusty Kaiser. Clint Brazier will be with us here shortly as well. So Dusty, had a, the football season is almost wrapped up. We were there on Friday night, disappointing end to the Loretto season and what was a very thrilling, but unfortunately a not so great ending for the Loretto Mustangs.
Yes, it was, AJ. We got to call one game together there when Lawrence County was there, and then, of course, we done the game this past Friday night. Phenomenal group of boys. Coach and staff is amazing. They was just on this crazy roller coaster ride. Yeah. Since 1991, they were 10-0.
Yeah.
But a really good, fundamentally sound Peabody team come into town and took care of business. And I hate it for the Mustangs. I hate it for the seniors. I hate it for the football program, and just what it meant to Loretto. But they got several coming back. I've talked to a coach this past weekend, and they're setting a bar high for next year.
Yeah. Speaking of Peabody, not many people know this. They completely changed their offense.
Sure did.
They were a spread team. Loretto prepared for the spread, and they come out in this wing tee read option offense. And for the most part, Loretto shut it down.
They did. They run it up the middle.
Yeah.
Every play.
Pretty much.
And then we've seen 3 pass plays. One was incomplete. One was a touchdown. The other one got a first down, I think.
Yeah, big play. First down.
Really mind-blowing. And it's got, I'm sure when that first series they run, Loretto's like, oh, my gosh, what is this? And like I said, hats off to Peabody.
Yep. Hey, moving ahead to the next round. Speaking of next round, we do have one football team in our area remaining. Over there in Wayne County, Collinwood, big win against McEwen, 37-7. Old Rick Rice, if Clint was here, well, he's in the restaurant somewhere.
He's in the building.
He would have something to say about that man. But anyways, they pick up a convincing win. They're going to McKenzie on Friday. And, I mean, you look at the 2 of the 3 losses they have, Loretto, Moore County, 2 teams that went undefeated in the regular season. The other one, the rival in Wayne County, but still, group moving ahead to the next round, and a group with a lot of momentum right now.
They are. And got to watch just a little bit of it. Hadn't really done a whole lot of digging in on it, but they're going to have their hands full this Friday night.
Yeah.
McKenzie's not going to just lay down.
Yeah, it's at McKenzie. Not the easiest place to play. It's pretty far away. Kevin and I found that out for baseball with Richland last year.
It's a long drive.
Long drive, no matter where you're coming.
Yeah, it doesn't matter which angle you're going at. Yeah. From where you live, it's a long drive.
And for those of you driving from Collinwood there's a Chick-fil-A on campus, just in case you want to know. So, Kevin and I found that out the hard way there at Bethel University. And already, we have an audio. We're good? Mic check. Mic check. On. I'm good? Okay. There we go. Okay, let's move ahead now to actually would stay on the high school part of things. Basketball practices have started to ramp up. Lawrence County, me and you were both at the Meet the Cats last night, and a lot of the same familiar faces for both teams, but some of the new faces we weren't familiar with, kind of showed out a bit last night.
They did, and I'll go on the boys' side of it. Wow. Seen size-wise, maybe not so tall,
right?
But very athletic, fast, and just what little bit we did get to see, they can handle the basketball.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of anxious to see, AJ, where this Lawrence County High School boys basketball team, kind of the path they're going to go. And we've had Bryce on and the boys, but I mean, you got to watch a whole lot more than I have. But I'm kind of excited to see.
Yeah. And the girls-wise, a lot of new faces came up from a successful year at Kaufman last year. And, they were shooting lights out from beyond the arc last night. I mean, you don't want to read too much into it, but,
right.
I mean, all the prospectus we heard, it's, okay, you're losing this person and that person's going to be a lot to make up for, but looks like they're going to be able to make up for that this year.
I think you're right. I was very pleased with what I seen from the Lady Cats. We only have very few coming back. A lot of new faces, like you said, lost a lot. Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of shoes that's got to be filled, and I guess it kind of goes back to our other saying we always say is next woman up.
Yeah, hey, it's why you play the game.
That's it.
Why you do all that AAU, why you do all that working out. And
that's right.
So week from tomorrow, first game.
We'll be
there. Be right there. Be the only game in town since Loretto doesn't start till the next week, and Summertown doesn't start till Friday.
Right.
And I got to see Wayne County yesterday, of course.
Yeah, you told me about that.
The girls' team is, if they're not back in Murfreesboro in the state championship game again, there must have been some really good competition that they had to go through, because that group is really, really good. The boys, you look at, this is a team, stop me if you've never heard this before in this area. No seniors last year, all freshmen and sophomores now coming back. They're sophomores and juniors, just like what we hear at Summertown, just like what we hear at Loretto, having the same thing in Wayne County. This is a team that made it to the region tournament last year, but it's going to be exciting there in Waynesboro this year.
Yeah, you don't hear that a lot.
Yeah. Especially when you go into that gym and all you see is Lady Cats Final Four, Lady Cats State Championship, Lady Cat, just one thing after another. I'm like, is there a time they haven't gone to Murfreesboro and done something? It's very rare when they don't.
Yeah, and living here, I'm not kept up with Wayne County basketball, over the years. Yeah. But yeah, you very impressive.
Yeah. Of course, I'll be catching up with saw the Summertown boys for a little bit today, seeing the girls in the morning. Their season starts next week. Let's move ahead now to college football and your boys. What was turning out to be an absolute shootout, but there in the second half, took care of business, got a win, and the Tide. Everyone's starting to think, okay, this might be the group that goes to the playoff and wins the national championship now.
I'm going to eat crow on Milroe. I'm not saying that he's, a complete stud, but I'm very impressed with the way he has been managing the football game.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this. I haven't talked to you about it, and I've kept it to myself. I had this conversation late Saturday night with a good friend of mine.
Oh, Talon's here.
Yep. Nick Saban has changed the way he has coached this team. If you look from week 1 to 4,
yeah,
and then after that to where we're at now, it's a totally different team. They look different. They're disciplined. We talked about it. They didn't look. They wasn't very disciplined.
Not against Texas.
Through the first. No, I don't know, but I'm not saying we're winning the national championship or anything. I do like our chances getting. I think we're going to make it to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And we'll see. If Brock Bowers isn't back, may have a chance to beat Georgia. If he's there and healthy, that's going to be hard.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what's being
He's
done.
shaking his head back there. But we do have a big one coming up, and when we have Clint back, we'll talk about.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one when he's sitting here, and I can tell him what I think is going to happen.
Tennessee and Missouri.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
The Titans, tough one there Thursday night in Pittsburgh.
It was a tough one, and I was giving some of my good friends a little heck last night after we got done with Beat the Cats, and huge Titans fans, and all I've been hearing is Will Levis. He's the real deal. We finally got us a quarterback. Blah blah blah. It's 2 games in. I told him, I said, so you saying I need to go home and put some money on him to win a Super Bowl this year? Like, we're just going to go ahead and jump that far ahead? Yeah. He's that good?
Yeah.
Just picking at him. They know him. They're probably watching and probably laughing too. He looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Still don't have an offensive line.
Yeah.
His weapons are very thin now with Burks being hurt. So, I don't know, man. I'm still not sold on the Titans, just being honest.
Yeah. Well, I know what I'm sold on is, West Virginia, calling it right now. They're going to Oklahoma, but they're going to hand the Sooners their 4th straight loss. The Niners are going to break out of it. They got Jacksonville this week. In Jacksonville, I think they're going to break out of it this week. We're going to talk a little bit of Marshall coming up here with our guests coming up a little bit. They've kind of gone on a nosedive, but I'm going to brag on my team, one of my other teams, for making some big noise earlier this week. It's something that no one in the world of baseball thought was coming. That's the Cubs poaching the rivals from up north's manager, when all they said he's either going to stay in Milwaukee and go to the Mets. Now he's a Chicago Cub.
Man, and you told me last night, you were on cloud 9.
No one thought this was coming. No one even, there's no reporting.
I was fixing to say, there's nothing. No ESPN broke anything. Hey, maybe that's what Chicago needed to kind of turn the corner. And
they got. Now it looks like we got a chance for Ohtani. Looks like Bellinger's going to come back. That's his preferred destination.
Yep.
So with some of that pitching that's just starting to develop.
So young.
Don't need Stroman. He's a head case.
Yes.
Injury prone. It's either a good start to the season, terrible finish, or a terrible start and a great finish. We need someone that's good for 162 games, not just someone that's good for a handful of them.
That's right. I do want to bring up a team. You said the 49ers.
Yeah.
I want to talk about them for a second. Ask you, so where you stand with Brock Purdy?
I don't know. He's getting Debo back this week. Kyle Shanahan's philosophy is he wants to build the team through the defensive line. Well, they just got Chase Young. So that
I'm anxious to see. I think with Debo coming back, so if he's on the field, that means he's at least 80%.
Yeah. He's starting to throw to Kittle more.
I want to see Purdy. I think he's got to show out.
Yeah, and he's got a good opportunity here Sunday. He'll have several opportunities. They still haven't played the Seahawks yet. There's still some other opportunities, some really good teams on that slate that they got to face. So.
But I've got a dark horse for me in the AFC, and it's really not a dark horse, but I'm eating crow on some of my picks, but they better look out for Baltimore.
Okay.
That could be the real deal.
But at the end of the day, Lamar Jackson's going to be Lamar Jackson. You're going to live.
I think he wins the MVP.
But does he win a Super Bowl?
I think he can get there.
We'll see.
I mean, if you look at it, the Kansas City don't look like Kansas City. Yeah. Tua and McDaniels hadn't beat a winning team yet.
Yeah.
Buffalo.
Unpredictable.
Big time.
Cincinnati's coming strong.
Cincinnati's coming. I think that, and I hate it. I mean, I think it's Baltimore, Cincinnati, and AFC could be your teams in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Division. Even though I picked the Steelers to win, Steelers are 5-3.
They are 5-3, but I don't think they're winning.
Nah, they're going down.
Oh,
the ends don't know.
Yeah, it's coming.
Well, coming up next here on xSports Live, we have a very special guest here. Big anniversary coming up over in Huntington, West Virginia, and someone that has a connection to that. It's coming up next here on xSports Live.
Truett's Garage Doors in Leoma, Tennessee is your one-stop for new garage door installations for all commercial and residential buildings, plus they offer full service on all existing doors. Need a new garage door opener? Truett's Garage Doors has you covered. As an Amar Gold and LiftMaster dealer, Truett's Garage Doors offers the best pricing anywhere in the area. A family-owned and operated business, Truett's Garage Doors has been helping Tennessee and Alabama residents since 1999. Call the pros today at Truett's Garage Doors, 931-201-6464.
A local law firm respected throughout the state. Generations of clients have turned to Boston, Holt, and Durham since 1948. We assist individuals and businesses with their legal needs, including real estate, property closings, personal injury, employment discrimination, and family law. Our clients get the personal attention and convenience of a hometown law firm with the resources and ability to handle any case. Come see us at Boston, Holt, and Durham.
Buying or selling a home has never been simpler or more professional than with Realtor Jacob Patterson guiding you through the process. Jacob is currently featuring this beautiful new construction property in Loretto, Tennessee, located near the Cherokee Hills subdivision.
Hi, I'm Jacob Patterson from Caldwell Banker Southern Realty, and if you're looking to buy or sell or interested in this home that we featured today, just give me a call or text at 931-279-1707 anytime, any day, and I'll be there to help you.
If there ever was such a thing as a company that could do almost anything, well, Hinie Properties is it. These guys know how to completely transform your existing home into something new, or just do it room by room. Need a new bathroom or kitchen? What about a fresh coat of paint? Even a new floor? Looking for dirt work? Hinie has you covered. Oh, and you can even rent a dumpster from them too. That's Hinie Properties. Visit Hinie.com or phone 931-244-4602.
Oliver Wellness and Massage, located in Pulaski, Tennessee, is your premier spa for massage therapy, salt therapy, IV therapy, tanning, and much more. Stay relaxed, look your best, and feel good at Oliver Wellness, located at 1187 West College Street, Pulaski, Tennessee, or contact Haley at 931-309-0462 or schedule your appointment online at 931massage.com.
Don't just find a job, find a career with Resource MFG. The team at Resource MFG in Lawrenceburg has the resources and experience to find you a full or part-time position right away. Now recruiting for open positions in Lawrence, Giles, and Murray counties. Whether you're entering the workforce for the first time or looking to take your career to the next level, let your journey begin with Resource MFG. Located at 300 Ellingson Street in Lawrenceburg. Phone 931-570-2111 to jumpstart your career today.
Hey everyone, this is Landon Saunders.
And this is Nate Patterson with Cloud9 Fiber.
We're excited to finally be able to offer Lawrenceburg our blazing fast, reliable, and affordable fiber internet services.
If you're looking for a more reliable and more affordable provider, we at Cloud9 Fiber have you covered.
Plans start at $50 a month, and we can offer up to a gigabit to your home or business.
We are excited to be able to offer your first month of service entirely free. We encourage you to sign up on cloud9fiber.com or by calling 931-201-9098 so we can help you make the switch today.
Great food is just a short drive to Heinie's BBQ in Lawrenceburg. Mouth-watering is just one way to describe the amazing flavors of the best piece of Hinie in town when you dig into a plate of pulled pork, hand-chopped brisket, chicken, wood-fire oven pizzas, and the menu goes on. Wash it all down with a swig of Hinie Shine lemonade and then make your way over to the gift shop full of Hinie sauces, snacks, and more. Heinie's BBQ, Highway 43 North in Lawrenceburg.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the xSports Network.
Back here on xSports Live, brought to you by Heinie's BBQ. Got a special guest with us here. His name is Jerry Geho. Now, I bet you're wondering why Jerry is here. Well, there's a big anniversary. It's about to come up over from my neck of the woods in Huntington, West Virginia. November 14th, 1970. Now it's next week. But the football team of Marshall is honoring the victims this week because it's the closest home game to the plane crash. But for those who don't know, Marshall University was coming back from a game at East Carolina. On the way back, the plane crashed, killing all 575 members. To this date, it is the biggest single tragedy in American sports history. And though it was an unfortunate tragedy, the story of Marshall doesn't end there. Obviously, they built up. People know who they are. They've had Heisman Trophy finalists. They've had Pro Football Hall of Famers. So clearly, the program has risen. But the reason Jerry is here with us today is Jerry was at Marshall at the time of the plane crash. But first, Jerry, just kind of give us a background. I mean, me and you were talking off air. We're both West Virginia natives.
Yeah.
He's from Wellsburg. I'm from Winfield. Just because they start with W doesn't mean we're anywhere remotely close to each other.
Right.
He grew up in the northern panhandle. I grew up in, I don't know, it's not southern West Virginia. Middle, yeah, central West Virginia.
Hillbilly heaven. There you go.
In between Charleston and Huntington,
Yeah.
I'm off the interstate. Well, I mean, it's out there. It's a winding road. I've been through Wellsburg before.
Right on the river.
Right on the river. That's right, next to West Liberty University,
Yeah.
which actually North Alabama's women's coach played at West Liberty.
Is that right?
So yeah, there's always a West Virginia connection
Always
everywhere you go. But Jerry, first, just tell us a kind of a background on you and how you ended up at Marshall.
Well, I was young. I had been going to West Liberty College, and I'm not the studious type, so I was asked to leave, and I did. And with a little bit of help, I got into Marshall. And the reason I went to Marshall was for their ROTC program. That was my main reason for going to Marshall University. I had tried to get into the military. I put off enlisting and got in an accident, had an injury that developed problems. And so the recruiter said, if you really want to go for a career, I'd suggest you find an ROTC program, get in there and go through that. So I looked up and there was Marshall, and there's where I went. And when I got there, it was a great school. Now, when I went there, Marshall was a party school. Wasn't much on football. It was just a good time for a party, and that's the honest truth. Perry Moss was there as coach, and then Rick Tolley came in later. But I think the greatest thing about Marshall was the spirit that they had. It was there when I got there, and then after the tragedy, it really cranked up. I worked for Gay Broadcasting, Connie B. Gay Broadcasting, and I was the news bureau chief for Huntington, Ashland, and Ironton, Ohio. And in the process of that, I paid all my attention to my ROTC classes, not so much the other classes. And I worked at the radio station, and they put me into the news department, and ended up actually doing the news bureau out of Huntington. And I did a lot of ABC news feeder, and the reason I did that, it was more lucrative to do by story than it was on their salary. So it was a good experience. I was a journalism major at Marshall, And I was asked to go and do the story for the away game. It's kind of like an award for, being faithful as a student or for whatever. And but the problem come up. I had a couple roommates, and one of them bet the horses, and he was in charge of the rent money that month. And he bet it to win instead of to show. So even though I had a free ticket, he didn't have the money for his. I didn't have money for expenses. So I gave my ticket to a very good friend of mine who perished on the flight. But so that's the reason I wasn't on the flight.
Wow.
Yeah.
So obviously you're in Huntington when it happened.
Yes.
You could have been in Greenville and on your way back to Huntington. Just what was your reaction? What was the reaction for those on campus and within the community?
Well, we were moving that day. Like I said, we had to move apartments. And we had just finished moving. Usually a lot of guys would come home from the game and they would come over to our place because my roommates were all phys ed majors. And we were listening to the radio and they announced that there had been a plane crash at Tri-State Airport. And my roommate and I looked at each other, the three of us looked at each other and said, man, that's not good because no flights come in there at night. And the only flight we knew coming in was the football team. And then we started hearing sirens. And I had already taken off from work and my family thought I'd gone to the game. And so I headed down to the news bureau, the TV station and the radio station. And I actually, to get word to my parents that I wasn't on the plane, they had to take a line through New York back to West Virginia to my neighbors so they could tell my mom and dad I wasn't on the plane because they thought I was going. That's before cell phones.
Yeah.
So it was a state of shock.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, it's 53 years this year. I can close my eyes and pause for a moment and I can go back to where I was, what things smelled like, where we were standing. It's all there every year. And I lost some business people that I knew pretty well that owned clothing stores and car dealership because in broadcasting I was dealing with them a lot. But it was a really tragic situation because nobody was prepared for it. Back then they didn't bring counselors in. And people were literally sitting on the curbs just crying, brokenhearted. And it was a day that you never forget if you were there.
Did you know a lot of the guys who were on the flight personally?
Yeah, I knew 7 or 8 of them pretty well. Went and had a lot of classes with them. Were friends of my roommates especially because they were football players. Most of the football players that I knew had graduated, okay? And one that I was close friend, Ron Mikulogic, went to the Canadian Football League and didn't do his senior year at Marshall, and or he'd have been on the plane. But outside of that, most of mine were people in the community that I knew. I went back up to the memorial about 10 years ago. It's the first I'd been there, and it was a very I can't even tell you I don't have a word to describe it. It was a different world for me for about an hour. As I went and I saw the names and people that I knew and remembered, and thought about, gee, here I am, where would they have been 40 years later?
Yeah.
But it was definitely an experience that I hope nobody has to go through.
And it was a tough time. I've interviewed and talked to a lot of people, in my time and covering Marshall, working in West Virginia, and just from being from that area, they said it was one funeral after another.
Yes.
People were going to funerals for days.
Dr. Dedman, who was the acting president at the time, I had done news articles with him. That was right after the Kent State shootings, and they had burned the buildings at Marshall and some other stuff. And I'd done a lot of reporting with the National Guard. And I got to know Dr. Dedman pretty well. And I was coming through town in the middle of the night, and he was sitting on a park bench there by the old main. And I caught the car, went up and sat down and talked to him. And he said, this is unbelievable. He went to every funeral. Met with every family. He was exhausted. But it put a real strain on the administration. But I want to tell you, Ken Jones, who was a sportscaster, Ken was killed in that also, in Channel 13. And I'd worked at 13 some, along with the broadcasting job. And it was hard for everywhere. Everywhere was affected. You know, the movie. Someone asked me how close was the movie. It was pretty close. I mean, the restaurant didn't really exist.
Right.
The guy didn't own a steel mill. I knew all the cheerleaders. You know, knew them well. A lot of their stories were pretty accurate, but I would have to say, as far as knowing what happened and what they put out for people to hear, pretty accurate movie.
Yeah, the pain and the sorrow,
Yeah.
and also kind of the rebirth. And you were there for that. There was a big controversy on whether or not they're going to bring it back. How do you bring it back? Just walk everybody through. You know, Marshall didn't take any years off. You know, they have one game remaining against Ohio University. They made a pretty cool, touching tribute where they kicked the ball off and forfeited the game. So Marshall does have credit for that win, officially or unofficially, however you want to put it. But they didn't take any time off. They were playing football the very next year. Just tell everybody what that process was like.
Well, that was the conversation on campus was we won't have a football team.
Right.
And, you know, the boosters were about halfway divided. Half wanted it and half didn't.
Yeah.
They lost a lot of boosters on that crash.
Yeah.
Hez Ward was a big one. Merle Rawson was a big one. And they were the driving force in the boosters. So those voices were gone. And the other ones were, I think, dealing out of guilt, saying we need to it needs to end the football program. We'll focus on basketball, which was a big sport there.
Yeah.
And football had never really gained a foothold. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I mean, it was a party school, and a football game was an after party deal.
It was more of a basketball school.
Yeah.
They were really good at basketball.
Yeah, you don't try to drive down Fifth Avenue in Huntington when there's a basketball game on.
Yeah.
You better go down the side street, or you're going to end up in a mess.
The old field house.
Yeah, the old field house.
Yeah, it's a great place.
There. And I think what happened though and I left in the spring of '71.
Yeah.
Okay. I was supposed to have gone to Indiantown Gap for the ROTC for my commission, and I was permanently disqualified. And I said, well, I'm going to Nashville. So I went and withdrew, and that's when I came south. But a lot of good memories at Marshall, a lot of traumatic ones.
Yeah.
The guy that I gave my ticket to had just gotten married the Saturday before. And I didn't know until the movie come out, and I got some information and an inquiry about the movie, why I wasn't on the plane and this and that and the other. I found out later that Gary George went as a scorekeeper.
Yeah.
So even if he had not gone just to write the story, he would have been there anyway.
Okay.
Now, did that help me much? Well, I lost a great friend.
Yeah.
But, you know, at least I had felt there for a number of years like, you know, he took my place.
Yeah.
And, you know, you hear about survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
Had some of that.
Yeah.
But all in all, I look back at Marshall very fondly.
Yeah.
It was a great school, great people. Outside of that experience, it was a phenomenal 2 years.
Were you there when they beat Xavier on that first game? I mean, I know they played Moorhead first on the road, but that first game back home when that, you know, the infamous game that everyone has seen in the movie. And
no, I left in the spring of '71.
Left in the spring. Okay. So that game would have been the fall of the '71.
I left right after they'd called the coach.
Okay.
That's was the week I left because I covered the news story on that. You know, and then I was gone.
So how much have you kept up with Marshall since that time? And
well, they blew it open after that. You know, I think there was some resolve that came to those that stuck it out for the football.
Right.
I think they had to dig in and prove a point.
Yeah.
And I think there was enough muscle in that that they wouldn't quit.
Yeah.
And I think that's what made the difference.
Yeah.
That and the coach, they thought he was half crazy at the time. I guess maybe he was, but he was a bold rascal. You know, he would do stuff that a normal human being wouldn't do. And I think I didn't know that much about him because I only covered one or two things. But I would say just the movie, the guy did a halfway decent job of showing his zeal for let's get this done. However we got to do it, let's get it done.
Yeah.
But I know I went back up there about 5 years after. And they were still reeling from it in the business community around the school. Most of the students were now gone that had been there.
Yeah.
You know, there was some faculty there, but I don't know if they would ever really get over it. I think it's always there. And with the memorial, they shut it down on the 14th
Right.
for the winter,
Right.
and then they kick it back up in the fall. And I think that I think it's good they keep that alive because that's part of who they are. That's who they become.
And for those who don't know, there's a fountain on campus that before, on the 14th, it's a fountain. They shut off the fountain, and then they reset it for, I think the first day of spring practice is what they do now. I could be wrong about that, but I know that they turn the fountain on during the spring. So
all focuses around the football.
All focuses around the football, and like you said, it did take them a while. 84 was their first winning record. They made it to the championship game in 87, of course, FCS titles, and 92, 96. They did make it to the championship game, 91, 92, 94, and 95. But, have you, since you were there at the time, does it blow your mind that, Marshall, with the Heisman Trophy guys, the top 10 finishes, the guys in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and that you can watch, they're beating Virginia Tech and Purdue, and does it blow your mind that you can now turn on ESPN and they can be on ESPN now?
The whole football thing blew my mind.
Yeah.
Because I saw it when it was nothing, and then saw it go through, like you said, the worst sports tragedy. 2 weeks before that, a plane had crashed.
Yeah.
Had 14 players on it from out in the Midwest.
Right. Oklahoma State.
Yeah. And, I remember we were moving stuff, and they had a guy who was on the plane saying, does it make you nervous traveling with a football team in light of this athletic tragedy? He goes, this place has this plane never had a crash. And I looked over my roommate, I said, I don't know, man. I wouldn't say that if I was him. Little did I know that, 8 hours later that we'd be going through what we did. I do know that the night of the crash when I was down at the news center, ABC called for me to go do a live report. And the reporters from the TV station and the other radio station said, Jerry, you don't want to go out there. We've been there. And this one guy was having a rough time with it. He said, here's the information. And so I gave the information, and I gave the reporter's name that gathered it, And I said, they advised me not to go out there, and I'm just not going to go. So I didn't go out to the crash site. And I'm glad to this day I didn't, because Vince, the other reporter, he had a lot of issues from that. Apparently, it was quite a traumatic scene.
And it's crazy. I think it's now 19 programs that Marshall has faced from then to now that don't have football anymore. And here they are. They lost their football team, coaches. Gene Morehouse, their broadcaster, I've gotten to know his son Keith over the years, who still over at Channel 3, phenomenal guy, phenomenal broadcaster. And it's just crazy to see what Marshall is now, that they're one of the top, they're Division I, they're a top program. When you see that block M on the side of the helmet, you're in for a dogfight.
And sports seem to take a hold in Marshall. I was with WTCR and WVQN. That's who I was with. And Mike Tussey, who went by Mike Todd, he became the voice for the football team. And he was there through all that. Quite a guy. But I think that it left a mark on a lot of people. And 53 years, I was telling my wife, I said, man, I didn't feel so old till I got thinking about this. But that happened over a half a century ago. And it's just like it happened last week. Because it's that real.
I've talked to Red Dawson, who was, he was a coach that went on a recruiting trip, supposed to be on the plane, gave his seat to another coach so he can go back and be with his family. I've talked with him several times, and he never coached after that next year. He's still pretty affected by it. And now we have guys who are on the Young Thundering Herd who are dying off. But it's like you said, you go in that community, there's a reminder of it. Like this week, they're wearing the black helmets. They're going to wear 75 on the side. They have the logo with the logo that they wore at the time, and the middle stripe on the helmets has every name of all of the 75 on the helmets. Just how touching is it for you knowing how much now today's teams, it started when Doc Holliday was there as the coach, because he was from Hurricane. He was at West Virginia at the time when that happened. How much does seeing what they've done how touching is it now that now even today's generation is honoring that team?
I think it's very fitting.
Yeah.
I think there was more than human death
Right.
in that tragedy. There was the school spirit. There was the school vision. All that had to be redefined.
Yeah.
When I left Marshall, they didn't know who they were.
Yeah.
And it was put together in just a few years. And there were some dynamic leaders, and Dr. Dedman was one of them.
Yeah.
He stood in there strong for Marshall. Just being the interim president, he really had a lot dumped on him.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he was a dynamic guy, very quiet, soft-spoken. But when he spoke, people would listen. And he wasn't timid, even though he appeared to be.
Yeah.
Trust me, he wasn't timid.
Yeah, I mean, think of the things he fought for. They weren't allowing freshmen to play at the time.
Yeah.
And he went and fought. Marshall was one of the first teams that ever got to play freshmen because they had to.
Yeah.
They had to get somebody to play. But when I talk about Marshall, and again, I grew up in the area, and you went there, so you understand this. Tennessee has a lot of great traditions. Alabama has a lot of great traditions. West Virginia has a lot of great traditions, but nobody has what Marshall has.
Right.
And that's that fighting spirit. There's the We Are Marshall chant. That didn't happen until the 80s. I understand that, but just explain to people, Marshall's kind of a foreign concept to most people in this area. It's all SEC and all that sort of stuff, but just explain to everyone that's watching just that tradition that Marshall has and why it's such a special place.
Well, they didn't have We Are Marshall.
Yeah.
But they had Marshall.
Right.
And they would just chant Marshall, Marshall. Okay? I think people, when this tragedy hit, they had to decide who they were. They had to decide what they were going to do to either put it to rest or move it forward. And once they made the decision to move it forward, I didn't know many people involved in that struggle over the years, but I do know that a lot of people paid a big price to move it forward.
Right.
Dedman lost his job. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that went on in the politics of it, but I think the memory was, the purpose was, build the memory for these guys.
Yeah.
I had a handful of people that I was close to on that. There were some on there that had multitudes of people. Some of those, the captain of the football team, okay, he had a real struggle the rest of his life. And because he had tremendous skill. And I didn't know him personally. I knew who he was and had met him. And he was around my other friends. And I was just kind of like an odd figure in that group. But he was, his personality changed. Just in that one incident. I think a lot of personalities changed. And, but Marshall, I think Marshall was a great school to begin with. I think they had some traditions. They went from being a party school, and that's all it was for the football. Pardon me, I was at a lot of them. But I think they had to change who they were.
Right.
And I think when the chant came out, "We Are Marshall," I think that came out later because they began to identify. They realized we are Marshall.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the alumni, there was a lot of alumni that stood up and stood in the gap. So all I can say is that I went there. I was blessed to be able to go there. I had a great time there. I accomplished a lot of things personally there, and I moved on from there. But in my office today, I have a Marshall jacket that my kids bought me when they took me to see the movie. When it came out, and it's a Marshall jacket, and it's hanging there. And there isn't a time I don't walk in and look up at that and I think, wow. So God has a plan for everything.
Right.
And that didn't fit anybody's plan that was moving forward. But I think God stepped in, and I think his plan has no doubt moved through a lot of lives over the years to make a tragedy, a sad, pathetic tragedy, count for something good somewhere. And all I can say is this: Marshall's a better school today than it was when I went there. I mean, academically, sports-wise, everything. How much did that have to do with it? Well, it changed how they thought.
Absolutely.
And when they said we are Marshall, that means that they bought into it took ownership, and a great school.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, Jerry, so much for joining us.
Thanks for
those, go check out the movie We Are Marshall. They're honoring the 75 against Georgia Southern, an old SoCon rival. They're playing them Saturday nights on the NFL Network, and hopefully Hurt can snap that 5-game losing streak, because they never lose when they're honoring the 75.
There you go.
They never did when I was covering them, and they haven't. Well, I'm sure they have at some point. I have to go look at the stats on it. But you can check out that game, Jerry. Thank you so much for bringing light to this. And hey, like I said, there's always a West Virginia connection no matter
Somewhere.
where you go, even right here.
Country roads, buddy. They go all the way to Tennessee.
That's right. Go Herd. Right?
They go both ways.
They do. They do go both ways. All right. Well, Jerry, thank you so much. And coming up next, Dusty and Clint and I will talk about everything going down in college football and the NFL this weekend here on xSports Live.
Arctic Air keeps your home or business comfortable. For more than 20 years, we provided outstanding residential and commercial services through Southern Middle Tennessee. Whether you need assistance with your heat, air conditioning, preventive maintenance, or anything in between, trust our reliable team to get the job done. We'll take the time to figure out your specific needs and recommend what we believe is right and best for your situation.
We've been using Arctic Air for over 15 years now. Their service is great, they're here when we need them, and their prices are competitive. They take the worry out of the heat and air so I don't have to.
Arctic Air. When you need us, we'll be there.
Do you have a small farm, a big farm, or just critters in the backyard to feed? If you answered yes to any of those questions, then you need to make the short drive down to A&B Feeds in Etheridge, Tennessee today. Owner and operator Jamie Ayers has you covered and will treat you right. That's A&B Feeds in Etheridge, Tennessee.
Got a dent, a ding, a scratch, or a bent fender? Major or minor, Car Country Collision Center in Leoma can fix you up. Car Country works with all insurance carriers, gives free estimates, can work on foreign and domestic vehicles, and has experience you can trust. They've been in business since 1990. Unfortunately, accidents happen, but you can get your car back on the road with as little hassle as possible with the help of Car Country. Call 931-852-4708 or stop by at 2567 Highway 43 South in Leoma.
I'm Mike Keith, and my friends at Elliott Johnson Insurance have a great partner in Auto Owners Insurance. Auto Owners makes it easy to get life, home, car, or business insurance. Let Elliott Johnson Insurance find the Auto Owners policy that makes a difference in your life. Call Elliott Johnson Insurance at one of their 3 locations, Florence, Loretta, and Lawrenceburg. Elliott Johnson Insurance, moving forward for our clients every day.
For decades, First Class Charter has provided high-quality motor coach transportation services to the Tennessee Valley. With numerous safety and cleanliness accreditations, First Class Charter is ready to make your group trip a reality. Contact us today by visiting firstclasscharter.net. First Class Charter, the official motor coach company of the North Alabama Lions.
Great food is just a short drive to Hinie's BBQ in Lawrenceburg. Mouth-watering is just one way to describe the amazing flavors of the best piece of Hinie in town when you dig into a plate of pulled pork, hand-chopped brisket, chicken, wood-fire oven pizzas, and the menu goes on. Wash it all down with a swig of Hinie Shine lemonade and then make your way over to the gift shop full of Hinie sauces, snacks, and more. Hinie's BBQ, Highway 43 North in Lawrenceburg.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the xSports Network.
Welcome back here to xSports Live, brought to you by Hinie's BBQ. Ladies and gentlemen, talents in the house. Clint Brazier here has joined us. And
Dadgummit, I meant to get that championship belt over there and
let's just get it. Who cares?
Let's just get it, man. Let's
get it.
have a wrestling show real quick.
You want to tell everyone what Kevin said when he brought that in?
No, I don't want to tell anybody what Kevin said. It's pretty embarrassing. But I do want to give a big shout out to my good buddy over here, Mr. Dusty Kaiser. He loaned me his Universal. That's Universal, yeah. World Championship belt for a costume party that me and Miss Gretchen had to go to. And she was a crowd favorite. She was
Hulk Hogan.
She had the spandex. She didn't wear the tights. I wouldn't let her wear the tights. But she did wear the spandex leggings. And was totally Hulk Hogan and wore that championship belt because, Hogan and Flair, you relate to the belt.
Well, sure.
Stone Cold, you don't need one.
No.
Especially the way he walked with it. He never wore it. He just drug it
Yeah,
down to the side. Kind of like my son does his favorite bunny rabbit.
Right.
He just drags it.
Right.
But Hogan wore the belt.
He wore the belt.
Flair did.
And if you'd have saw me later on in the evening, I imitated Stone Cold a little better. But luckily, there's no videos or pictures of that, so we don't have to worry about that. But thank you so much for loaning me that bad boy.
All right, Cliff, let's get right into it, man. Missouri, Tennessee. Obviously, we knew there. By the way, what is Jim Moore doing stalking Flames when his team is 1-8 against Tennessee? 1-8, period. What an idiot.
It was. They don't have a good record against Butch Jones or Jeremy Pruitt. So I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Listen, I honestly, you watched that Georgia game and you've seen the miscues Tennessee's had this year. I think if you're just outside looking in, you're probably thinking Missouri's probably favorite, especially at Mizzou.
Yeah.
But here's my thing. I'm a believer in Josh Heupel. I think, honestly, we should right now be 8-1, not 7-2. Right. That Florida game, I think if it was played tomorrow, Florida doesn't stand a chance. It was Joe Milton's real first road test, and the crowd and the hype got to him. Hey, honestly, if you take away a second half against Bama, you might be undefeated.
Right.
But I think Josh Heupel's got his team where they need to be, and I get it. Tennessee's secondary is still suspect, and the big thing is, Mizzou's quarterback's going to pick them apart. But how's Mizzou going to stop that run? Because Alabama couldn't stop it, Kentucky couldn't stop it, and Kentucky's got the best rush defense in the SEC. Texas A&M couldn't stop it.
Right.
And that's my thing. Josh Heupel this year is coaching like Nick Saban did 5 years ago.
Well, the only thing I say is I feel like Heupel in the second half of the last two games has kind of
not UConn, but
against Alabama
and
Kentucky. Because y'all played Kentucky after you played Alabama.
I got you.
I feel like in the second half he's kind of just almost took his foot off the gas.
Well, I will definitely give you that on the Alabama game. Not so much in the Kentucky game because, unlike you, I'm a Tennessee fan, so I watched that until the final final whistle went off. But I don't think he did. I just think it was a matter of circumstances where, look, at the end of the day, Kentucky knew Tennessee was going to run the ball with 7 minutes to go and could not stop it.
Right.
Could not stop it.
They couldn't stop it. No, you're right.
And I will give. Listen, Joe Milton's not the guy. We're not going to win the national championship or an SEC championship with Joe Milton. But I said it probably 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Either he doesn't want to run the football or he can't make that read to when he needs to run the football. Yeah. Well, you can't say that about that anymore.
Right.
He's picking up yards with his legs. I put out a post in that Kentucky game that said I'm ready to see the freshman quarterback and a new defensive coordinator. Well, that was emotions going high. I really can't say that about Milton right now. And, you know, I'm going to pick Tennessee all the time. I'm going to pick Tennessee if they're playing the Patriots circa 2007. But I do. I think Missouri's thinking we're fixing to throw all over them, but I don't think what Missouri's realizing is that you may not be on the field that much because Tennessee's fixing to run it all over you.
Well, here's a stat to throw out there. Tennessee is the fourth best rushing attack, 227 yards a game. Missouri's 24th in the country. They only give up 114 a game, but they haven't really seen an attack like Tennessee's going to throw at them. LSU was all through the air. Georgia was more of a traditional I formation. They did run some out of the shotgun, but they throw a lot of fullbacks. It wasn't hurried up. No, it wasn't hurried up either.
I think you're right, but I'm going to say but
not so fast, my friends.
Y'all are going to have to slow it down, even with a run game, or because y'all go too quick. You still go too quick, even on your run plays. Y'all are still on the ball. Let's go on the ball. Let's go. And I guess your offense.
Right. It's Josh Heupel. It's just the way it's going to be.
And that being said, all you're doing is giving Missouri a chance to get the ball back.
Well,
and I don't think you want to go in a shootout with them.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you know.
Especially if it comes down to Milton having to throw it.
Well, like you said, stats don't lie.
They don't.
No, they don't.
Stats don't lie. And Missouri's had a whole lot better teams in the last 10 years than they've had this year.
I mean, you think of those two losses. LSU, who's really, really good, and that was a shootout. Really a game Missouri should have won. And then, weren't they leading? They were into the fourth quarter against Georgia, or
it was neck and neck.
It was neck and neck. It was neck and neck.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think. Look, and I hate to say this because I hate Alabama, but if it comes down to Georgia and Alabama, which I think it's going to in the SEC championship, I'm going to pick Alabama because right now Nick Saban's got it figured out. He is. I mean, I
just said it.
If you'd have said it 5 years ago, I'd have said there's no way Nick Saban's going to coach like he is right now. Nick Saban's figured out football's changed, and ever since, and I hate it that he figured it out in the second half against Tennessee, but it seems like ever since the second half against Tennessee, they're like, this is how we're playing, this is what we're doing.
Right.
Stop us.
Yep.
And
I know you talk about your quarterback, and I talk about mine, but I say the same thing about Milroe.
They're a lot alike.
They are a lot alike. But what he's done,
they're like me and you. They're just physical specimens.
I mean, just studs. They're horses, man. I don't know
they're
how.
Dumb as a rock too, like me and you.
That's true too. Can't even get out of the rain. But I think Milroe's stepped up too. And he's laughing at us. Yeah, the guy who makes fun of us.
Well, he said it was a Wonder Woman belt. Yeah. That's what I didn't want to say.
He's giving the Wonder Woman side.
Yeah, this guy right here.
Yeah, I know. Listen, folks at home, this is the belt.
That's a Bray White belt.
That's
should be LA
that's a Universal Championship, WWE Championship Wrestling belt. And I said, I'm going to set this right here. I said, don't let anything happen to it, Kevin. And he said, what's that? And I said, well, that was part of my costume party that I had the other night. He said, what was you, Wonder Woman?
We got to get a camera on our end so we can put one back on him.
I mean,
but I'd have probably made a pretty good Wonder Woman if I needed to.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, we only got a handful of big matchups. It seems like. Well,
if I cut you off, you were trying to make a point about your quarterback.
I've made my point.
We've got 3 other ranked v. ranked coming up on Saturday. One in the Pac-12, Washington. Utah's coming to Washington. Washington, what a brutal stretch of games. It just beat USC in that thriller on Saturday. They got Utah coming up Saturday, at Oregon State the next week, then finish with Washington State, which you don't know what Washington State team you're going to get at this point.
Washington State, you can throw the record books out the window. I mean, that's
even though Washington's dominated that over the last 20 years. But, I mean, I know I picked Utah to go to the playoff, mainly because I thought they'd beat enough teams with ranked teams
to get
in there. They're 2 losses. It doesn't look likely now, but I mean, At some point,
Yeah, I think Oregon's that team.
Yeah, do you think fatigue's finally going to catch up to this Washington team? They've played Oregon,
I think so.
Arizona, who's turning into a really good
You can't just
team.
keep playing these games like they're playing and winning.
At some point, you got to have a letdown and just be like, can we have a week off?
I mean, they got 3 opportunities against 3 decent teams here to have that letdown.
You're talking about Washington.
Yeah, Washington.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Utah's
because
already had
that
a
game they just played this past weekend against USC. I mean, my goodness. I mean, it was all left on the field for Washington.
Yeah,
I was glad they won because I'm not a USC fan. I'm not a Caleb Williams fan.
Boy, how bad has Caleb Williams looked since he said he wanted stock in whatever team drafts him?
Or more like the LOL tweet after Max Duggan cried after the Big 12 championship game.
And they got him. I mean, if y'all watched the game Saturday, he's up in his mama's arms,
crying,
bawling his eyes out because he's just lost 3 in a row.
I believe in karma because I believe karma's biblical, and that was karma right there.
Right.
That's the good Lord teaching him a lesson.
Yes.
Humility.
You're not what you think you are just yet, big boy.
Yeah. You still got a lot to
That
prove.
3rd round draft pick he's fixing to get's going to prove it to him, too.
Now, one of the first games of the day, we got a huge one, guys, and it centers around one of the teams that all the controversy is around right now, Michigan at Penn State. State College is going to be rocking. Thank God I don't live there anymore because I would have to be hauled up in my house because you couldn't drive anywhere.
I've got it right here. The Michigan's 4.5.
I mean, it's another chance for James Franklin to prove something.
Well,
I don't have faith
but
he's
he
gonna
hasn't.
prove it.
Yes, he hasn't yet,
I
though.
know.
That's the only thing. I've picked Penn State in 2 big games. I picked them against Ohio State, and then didn't was it Wisconsin that almost? No, it was
Maryland.
Maryland that almost beat them.
I took them against Maryland.
I didn't pick them against Maryland. Maryland almost beat them.
Yes.
Same
And
with Indiana.
every chance Penn State's had to try to get themselves in the conversation with Michigan and Ohio State, they just keep floundering. I'm going Michigan.
I mean, but the Big Ten's going to hand out the notice. They're going to give whatever punishment they're going to give tomorrow, probably early in the morning. Guys, feel like that might have some distraction for Michigan going into this game?
You know what that's going to be? It's Jim Harbaugh has to set out 4 games next year.
Yeah,
is what that's going to be. Right. Even though Jim Harbaugh is probably going to be in the NFL.
Yeah, because Michigan's done took his extension away.
Yeah. So if you think the Big Ten's going to do anything to Michigan, their number 1 catalyst to
win a title,
win a national championship, they're not going to do anything to them.
No.
Now if it was the NCAA, I might feel a little different, but
that's not going to happen.
No.
Next year at the earliest.
Yeah,
exactly.
Probably 2 years.
And if Michigan's hoisting the national championship, they ain't taking that away from them.
No.
Yeah.
And I think they got a chance to win one.
But I'm with you guys. I think Michigan goes in there, takes care of business. It's going to be a close game, but
I don't think it's close.
No, you don't think it's close?
No, I don't.
You think 2 touchdowns more?
I'm thinking 14-21.
I'm going 3 touchdowns.
I'm thinking 14-21 points.
Yes,
not 21.
No, I think
score.
Michigan puts one on them. And the reason why I say that is just the rivalry. Yeah. But I think now all the controversy going on,
they got something to play for. We'll show you.
Yeah, they got a chip.
We don't need no help.
And we're fixing to come kick you in the teeth.
Either that, or we're going to find out that maybe they didn't need all that help.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It may go the other way.
Exactly. I don't see it happening.
No, I don't either.
Because I'm not sold on James Franklin at all. We've talked about that.
But. I mean, someone said the other day that the coach at UVA, Franklin, or I never remember his name, used to be the OC at Clemson. He has more wins against top 10 teams than James Franklin does.
All right.
James Franklin's at Penn State. That guy's at
Venable?
UVA. No. Virginia.
Oh.
Since they've picked up a couple top 10 wins the last few years.
And it
makes
Tennessee look better, too.
Yeah. It's against
I think
ACC
that's why Tennessee
teams,
shot is at 13 in the playoff rankings ahead of Missouri.
Yeah.
Because Virginia has helped Tennessee out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the big one going down that night, the Lane train is going into Athens to take on Georgia. But I don't know. That doesn't feel like a big game. I think the results is already inevitable. I just think that they're going to go in there Georgia's going to do what Georgia does. They're going to manhandle that team. Even though I like Ole Miss, I love their running back. I love Quinshon Judkins. I love that power guy. But I just think they're going to go into Athens and lose by 3 touchdowns.
I'm going the other way.
You think Ole Miss is going to win?
I can't stand Kirby Smart.
Well, that's because he's the new Nick Saban.
Yeah.
But I think Lane Kiffin, he's never won a big game.
Yeah.
Never. He's due. And I just think Georgia has
played. He's going to let it all hang out.
I think it's it.
It's all or nothing. Is he going to get his popcorn ready?
Well, listen. And I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I also get what he's saying. And at the end of the day, I don't think they can match up with Georgia. But it will not shock me one bit if Georgia's not looking ahead to have to go to Neyland Stadium the next week.
Right.
And thinking, we've got a home game against Ole Miss. I don't care what Ole Miss is ranked.
Right.
Because they haven't played the same common opponent.
They've got Ole Miss is ranked 9th. Of course, Georgia's number 2. Georgia's 10.5.
Right. But you really can't go by any of that.
No.
They don't have really any common opponents. I mean, a few.
Yeah.
But nothing highly ranked.
No.
All right. So
Bowers is out.
And I feel like it is a perfect trap game for Georgia. Because you're thinking, hey, Tennessee, we got them next week at Neyland. They're going to be hyped for that. It's hard to play in that stadium because I don't care what anybody says. Yeah. Since Josh Heupel's been in Knoxville, we ain't lost in Neyland.
Right.
Since Lane Kiffin. That's when we threw the mustard and the golf balls at him.
Yeah.
Didn't they lose to Georgia in Heupel's first year at Neyland?
Yes.
Yeah, but that was after. But Ole Miss was after that.
Yeah.
But again, we haven't lost in 2 years at Neyland.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
And we've been a lot better the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And they're going to be looking ahead and thinking, we win that game. We're in the SEC championship. They're going to be looking ahead. Hey, I'm with Dusty. I'm taking Ole Miss.
I'm tired. But I think
I've just seen this.
And I have not picked against Georgia all year. I have not picked against Georgia.
No, I haven't either.
I've just seen this play out one too many times.
I get it. I'll say this. I'm right there with him. Lane Kiffin's due.
He's never won nothing.
And it's going to be one of those, his only year at Tennessee when he went to Tuscaloosa and almost beat a national championship.
Yes. If Cody had a
Alabama team
field goal, I mean, he wins.
He's going to do it. I'm telling you, this is what, because if you're Ole Miss, this is what puts you in the playoffs. Yeah. Because if you win that game and then win out and Alabama wins out, you don't have to play in the SEC championship.
And can still get in.
And you're in.
Because they're ranked 9th.
You've got an easier road than Mola does.
Yeah. Yes.
If you win this game.
And here's the thing for y'all with this game, for the bad side.
Mm-hmm. If wake Georgia up.
If Georgia takes care of business this weekend, and I mean thumps them, y'all need to be ready.
They're on a roll.
Because if they thump them without Bowers,
and I'm saying this knowing in my head that they're without their best players.
Yes.
And they have gotten better
each
in
week.
The last 3 weeks.
Yes.
Without him. And I get that, but I'm telling you,
I think
feel like
Kiffin's
they're
got a
going to
chance.
overlook. I feel like they're going to say, all we got to do is take care of next week at Tennessee, and we're at Atlanta, and we're 1 win away. And I feel like they're going to let the Lane train slip in there and
just
sneak one in on them.
You ain't kidding.
Yeah. Also,
speaking of Lane train, that's Dusty's next head football coach.
Shout out to former Wildcat basketball coach Joe Wilson for telling us it's Tony Elliott at Virginia. That's the head coach's name. So shout out to Joe. He's still watching.
Attaboy, Joe.
Give him a roll tide.
Roll tide.
There you go. Yes. There you go. All right, moving ahead now to the.
I haven't thrown up my mouth on this show in a while.
No, moving ahead now to the NFL. Tampa Titans got to go take on Baker Mayfield and the old Buccaneers.
Are you sold on this
3
mess?
and 5 teams.
On what?
On the Titans.
No, I'm not sold on the Titans, but how in the world is Mike Vrabel still doing press conferences and not saying Levis is our guy? I mean, why does everything? He says, well, we got to just see how Ryan's doing, and I mean,
he's named him a starter, but he's not saying.
But Levis has 4 touchdowns or he's got more than that. But he's got 4 touchdowns in his first game. Tanning's got 2 all year.
Yeah.
How's that not your guy?
Yeah.
I mean, he looked good at Pittsburgh as a rookie. And I don't care if it's not your typical steel curtain Pittsburgh team.
That's a tough place
You go to Pittsburgh at Heinz Field.
Yeah. On a Thursday night.
On a Thursday night, big game.
And play as they had a chance to win that football
and
game.
he didn't have any weapons.
No. How's that not our guy? Now, don't get me wrong. We're not going to make playoff. We're not going to do anything. But that's my guy going forward, and I'm going to build a team around him.
They need to. Well,
until he proves me different.
They got to start with the coach. They got to start with the coach. He's terrible.
Well,
and he's going to New England.
Well, I don't know if he is or not. I mean, if you're New England, do you want him?
No. I think Kraft wants him.
I mean, I get it. He just got into the Patriots Hall of Fame, and he's a lifelong Patriot, but why would you want him?
Oh, I know. I don't know why they would want him, but I think Tennessee might be a blessing to get rid of him.
Of course, if you're the Patriots, though, you get Vrabel. Vrabel's shown me he's a pretty decent coach with some pretty good talent every once in a while, and the Patriots can assemble a better team than the Titans can. So Vrabel may do well.
I just think we're going to see a whole bunch of NFL coaching changes this year.
I mean, we see it. That's why they call it Black Monday, the season
Yeah.
after the regular season. I mean, it's going to be a lot. I mean, the slate this week, guys, kind of stinks. Thursday night's awful. Panthers and Bears combined record is 3-14.
Go Bryce Young.
We mentioned the Niners and Jags. That's a pretty good game. Texans and Bengals. Browns and Ravens. That's also at the noon slate. That's a pretty decent game.
We need to talk about C.J. Stroud.
It's been pretty good. Pretty good.
I mean, that boy can spin it.
Mm-hmm.
He can put it on a dime too.
And he's doing it with just one guy.
Yeah. I mean, he might be the best Ohio State quarterback to ever come in the NFL.
No, I said it the other day, not C.J. Stroud, but we were talking about Patriots possibly getting Vrabel. And I said, yeah, they'll probably get Vrabel, and the Titans will start to look reload, and we'll probably get Josh McDaniel.
That's what we'll end up with right there. Worst coach in NFL.
Hey, we'll get him cheap. Let's bring him in.
I can't say on air what they were calling him on Twitter when he got fired. Just say there was a hashtag going around. That was pretty funny.
Right.
But,
he's awful.
Yeah. But
that's the one I like, and I'm not even a Tennessee fan, of course.
Hey, I'll brag on Josh Dobbs right now.
Yeah. I forgot about him.
He played like a champ at Arizona, filling in for Murray.
He couldn't even get a jersey.
Have you heard the details of? He didn't know the playbook.
No.
And they were.
Well,
he was
asking. But he's also a rocket scientist.
Yes.
Too,
so I mean, you can look at it and say.
He was literally asking guys in the huddle, where are you going on this play? What's the protect? And they still scored 31 points and had 2 drives in the fourth quarter.
Listen, Tennessee, Alabama, don't matter. That dude's a winner.
He is.
Just like I said about Jalen Hurts, they're winners.
They're winners.
If some NFL team don't get
Josh Dobbs was playing, if he was a senior at the University of Tennessee right now, we'd win the national championship.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
We would. I don't care how lacking our defense is.
That dude's a winner.
Yeah. He's smart.
He's smart, but I mean, he just.
All right. Well.
I said after, and this is how dumb I am. I said after 2016, Butch Jones' best year, when we threw the Hail Mary and beat Georgia and all that stuff, and he graduated, and I said, well, he's all right, but I said he made a lot of mistakes, and we'll be all right as long as we get another good quarterback coming in there. We'll be all right. And then I saw what we did after he left, and I went, we need to build him however many statues he wants in Knoxville.
He needs a bronze.
Those 20 wins he had in those 2 years was 100% on him.
Yes.
Well, if he leads the Vikings to a Super Bowl, they'll build him a skyscraper.
Yeah. I mean,
Minnesota.
he's getting Jefferson back. He got cleared to practice.
Yep. Hey, could be good. We'll see what happens. Who they got on Sunday? They got the Saints at home, noon on Sunday.
That's a very winnable.
Very winnable game. So, all right, guys, we're coming up next. Our final segment of the show. It's time for a rant and are you kidding me? That's what we got coming up next here on xSports Live.
Employee Resources Credit Union is an easy solution to banking, offering a personal, simple, yet modern way to bank. When you bank with ERCU, you are a shareholder, meaning you own a piece of the pie. And we make it easy with the convenience of digital banking, with service you won't find at another financial institution, including low to zero fees and incredible rates. We have the technology you need with the personal service you deserve, right here in your own neighborhood. Employee Resources Credit Union, not for profit, for service.
Are you looking for the perfect refrigerator? What about a new stove or washer or dryer? It only makes sense to shop at the one place that specializes in appliances, top to bottom, big or small. And that's Kelly Appliance in Lawrenceburg. Kelly Appliance is home to all major name brands, including LG. LG makes life good with a full selection of refrigerators, cooking appliances, dishwashers, microwaves, and more, including appliances made right here in Tennessee. Family owned and family operated. Stop by Kelly Appliance on Jerry Street in Lawrenceburg today.
From our humble beginnings to today, Parks Lumber Company has continuously served Lawrence and surrounding counties for over a century. Although we started as a small lumber yard in 1896, we have grown to include everything you need to make your dream project come to life. No matter your building needs, our experienced staff will be with you every step of the way to ensure you receive the highest customer service and attention to detail you deserve. Visit us at 106 2nd Street or on Facebook. We guarantee you will see working with PLC is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Story and Leave, the Tennessee Valley's most dynamic furniture store, featuring our Made in America galleries with solid wood dining and bedrooms, leather furniture, mattresses, and so much more. You want it? We've got it. With our 3 acres of showroom and our huge warehouse, we're sure to have exactly what you want. And it's all ready to be delivered to your home absolutely free. Just try that anywhere else. We are Story and Leave.
Lawrenceburg Flooring and More is your premier source for hardwood, laminate, luxury vinyl tile, sheet vinyl, residential and commercial carpet, carpet tiles, ceramic and porcelain tile, waterproof floating floor, plus blinds and shutters. Lawrenceburg Flooring and More is also home to all name brands and can tackle projects big and small. Installation? You're covered with installers who've got years of experience and stand behind their work. Let Lawrenceburg Flooring and More make your design dreams a reality. 2760 Highway 43 North, or visit LawrenceburgFlooringandMore.com.
Whether you're shopping in Lawrenceburg, Loretto, Summertown, or Mount Pleasant, Tegan's Food Stores has you covered with the best quality food at the best prices. From Cash Saver to Superama and CB Foods, stop by your neighborhood Tegan's Food Store today.
Great food is just a short drive to Hinie's BBQ in Lawrenceburg. Mouth-watering is just one way to describe the amazing flavors of the best piece of Hinie in town when you dig into a plate of pulled pork, hand-chopped brisket, chicken, wood-fire oven pizzas, and the menu goes on. Wash it all down with a swig of Hinie Shine lemonade and then make your way over to the gift shop full of Hinie sauces, snacks, and more. Hinie's BBQ, Highway 43 North in Lawrenceburg.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the xSports Network.
That's right, yeah.
Back here on xSports Live, brought to you by
Y'all missed a great debate.
Yeah, we're literally breaking down what a mess the college football playoff might be at the end of the season. We'll table that debate for another time, but
when it actually is a mess.
When it actually
in about 3 weeks.
In about 3 weeks. Yeah.
So it's time to start off with the first part of our final segment here with Are You Kidding Me? You guys got anything?
I do have one, and that's probably going to be mine for the night. But it's basketball season, NBA. LeBron James, come on, guys. We're sending video and calling the NBA out on how many foul shots he takes now because he's getting fouled too hard, and they're not calling it. That's an are you kidding me? Y'all, I have never seen a professional athlete, try to change the sport they play so much as LeBron James. From loading your teams up, and then every LeBron James fan in America is so pissed off about what the Phoenix Suns have done. Oh, they've got 3 now. Then you've got Golden State's got 3. Now you got Dame that's went to Milwaukee. What has LeBron done since the first time he left Cleveland?
He won a bubble championship.
with a loaded team.
Yeah.
But
Miami
that's what I'm
was
saying.
loaded.
Like,
Cleveland was loaded when he went back.
yeah, that's all they talk about. Oh, all these teams are loaded. Well, LeBron, he may not started it. I know KG and all them started it when they started the one in Boston.
Yeah.
But LeBron has followed suit more than any of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not taking up for Kevin Durant. I think Kevin Durant may be the greatest scorer playing the game right now. But Kevin Durant should have.
He's regular season show. He's probably the best regular season player.
Yes,
but he doesn't come up and crush.
He don't, and he's not won one by himself, or he's not won one as the leader.
And that's why one of my favorites of all time, Charles Barkley, says, "There goes street clothes, Kev."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not a bus driver.
No. Why do we?
You're a stat man, and when it's time to win, you're not a bus driver.
I mean, why does so many people though just love LeBron James?
Because he's the last 20 years he's newcomers to the NBA's best player.
I mean, Joker's done got more triple doubles than LeBron. He's played 800 less games.
Well, look, this debate, this has been one of my rants like 19 times since we've started doing xSports Live. but the only thing he is a GOAT on against Jordan is longevity, and I'll give it to him.
Yep.
Okay, that's fair.
Because he come right out of high school. I mean, he's longevity. Jordan played 3 years of high school. I mean, of college.
Yeah.
And retired twice. But the other thing that he's a king, that he's a GOAT over Jordan is flopping. Because you can pull up 900 videos of LeBron not getting touched.
Yeah.
But hey, man,
and flopping. Yeah. You can't pull up one video of Jordan.
Got his head knocked off.
Yeah, you'd have to knock him to the ground.
Yeah.
Which is what the Pistons did.
Dude.
And look, it's just, I don't need to get into it with.
I don't either, but we're 2 weeks in the NBA and it's already started.
Well, listen, here's my, what is it? What do you think?
Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Is NBA. I've already said, I think I used it on one of my rants, this new in-season tournament they're doing changing the whole setup of the NBA. That, all right, whatever. Why does every NBA gym now look like it's got graphics set for a nightclub or a strip club?
Have you seen the floor the other night that was blue?
Are you kidding me?
And Steph Curry.
It looks like a 9-year-old's birthday party.
It does.
Yes.
I'm waiting on Barney to walk out.
Yes.
I mean, it is ridiculous.
It's awful.
Is that really helping the game? Is that bringing you new viewers?
It's making it hard to watch on
Are people
TV.
tuning in and say, boy, I got to watch this Clippers Heat game because wait till you see this floor.
Yeah.
That floor the other night, Steph was was as blue as AJ's shirt.
But it's so dumb.
Yes. Stupid.
I'm with you.
That's my, are you kidding me?
Well, we're 2 for 2 on the NBA.
My are you kidding me is someone we've already brought up. Well, guys, good old Butch, good old BJ said something stupid again.
Butch Jones?
Yeah. Have you not heard this?
No.
So, now, after a tough start, Butch has turned things around in Arkansas State. They're 5-4, 3-2 within the Sun Belt. So they have a big win the last Saturday. So he goes in his post-game press conference. Instead of Bill talking up his team and how great they've been, you know what Butch decides to talk about? Well, our attendance isn't that good. And then when he starts to talk about attendance, he starts to go in about the student body. We need better participation from our student body. And he goes, well, if I need to go to every class, if I need to go to every student, then maybe that's just what I have to do. Has he not learned anything from Tennessee? Dude, quit saying dumb stuff. Like, for real.
Brick by brick, baby.
Yeah, brick by brick. Or what do we expect? This is my personal favorite.
Champions of Life's the dumbest saying.
Or my personal favorite from being still a media member. What do we expect out of our media? Well, what people expect is what they did. Called you out for being a lousy coach. I mean, he's been awful the last couple of years at Arkansas State. Okay, they're 5-4. He's starting to turn things around. But is he really focusing on talking about his students? Do you think they care what Butch Jones thinks? No. People at Arkansas State don't even care what Butch Jones thinks.
Well, listen.
They may not even know who Butch Jones is.
Yeah.
we weren't doing this show back when he got hired. Dusty knows that even in the terrible years of Tennessee football, I hadn't missed a game. I've rooted for Tennessee just like I did in '98, just like I did in the 2000s when we were dominating. But when they hired Butch Jones, I said, that's the one coach Derek Dooley beat. Are you kidding me? and I was so proud of him because he all of a sudden came in there, started recruiting like crazy, and he had a heck of a team in 2015, 2016. But he had more talent than most teams we played, with the exception of Alabama. And we still, I think his best season, regular season, was 8-4, 9-3.
9-3, for sure.
Come on, dude. Come on now.
All right, time for the rants, Dusty. What
I'm
you
out
got?
this week.
You're out this week?
I've got one coming.
Okay.
It just it's building.
You got one?
Let me get a little water. I got one. All right. Now, to our local school board, this is not aimed at you. Guys, we got to talk about it. This whole fan ejection, $250, and then you can come back and 2-game suspension, and then the second offense is a $500 fine, and then the third offense you're banned for life. This is not, like I said, this is not aimed toward our local school board or anybody local that set out the rules. Now, where I feel like our local school board may be in a little bit of trouble is most counties don't have what we provide.
Right.
I mean, what's to say a random fan's not going to say, I don't care if I get thrown out, I can stay home and watch it on xSports. I'm just saying, somebody that don't have a kid or a grandkid involved might be like, I don't care. I'm gonna show my rear end, and
I'm gonna tell them what I think.
Stay home, watch it on YouTube. Okay. With that said, I get it. You gotta make people act responsibly.
Exactly.
And hold them accountable. I'm not saying that. My rant is seriously, TSSAA. This is all you're trying to do. You're not going to even try to touch on the fact that your referees have become more incompetent through the years and years. Now, listen, if we have any referee folks, if you know me and I know you, I am not talking about you. I feel like every local person we have around here that calls, I'm good with. I do, because I know what you're getting. I know what we're getting.
Yeah.
I'm not, so please don't take it that way. And the TSSAA, if you're watching this and you're taking offense to it, just remember, I got a kid that plays for Loretta, and I call all the Loretta games. But
I just caught that.
Why would you not address your actual problem? Pay these guys more, and let's train them better, and let's tell them to have a little thicker skin.
Exactly.
Okay? Let's pay them a little more. Are you telling me Summertown won't pay an extra $100, $200 for referees for a Friday night, Tuesday night rivalry game so we can have basketball? Are you telling me the Ralph can't fork up $200 more if we need to pay officials? Hey, pay them more and tell them to suck it up, and let's train them better.
Right.
Let's quit sticking it out where the schools and the fans have to pay you more money because they can't stand how you're calling.
Right.
And that's the gist of the problem. Mm-hmm. I don't care who you are. Right. I've been calling and watching. Well, I've been watching and playing high school basketball forever, but with a vetted interest in it since 2014 when my oldest one was a freshman.
Right.
And it's just going worse and worse. And I'm talking about all the way to the state tournament level.
Yeah. Those boos get really loud in the Murphy Center.
And like I said, TSSAA, just remember, if you took offense to that, my daughter plays for Loretta, and I call Loretta game. Just don't hold it against me.
Oh my gosh!
That's my rant.
How can I follow that? Well, I'm going to stay in college football. And
bad thing is Brian True's on the phone right now.
Yeah.
No, don't listen to him.
Yeah, he didn't say
his daughter does go to Summertown, for all those who are watching. So I'm going to stay in college football. I'm going to talk about Michigan and all the stuff that's going down. Now, we talked about it. The Big Ten's going to lay down whatever punishment they're going to lay down tomorrow. But what I'm talking about is something that we have a problem not only in sports but in life and in politics. What Rutgers, Purdue, and Ohio State are doing, sharing information, everybody does it because you're allowed to do it. What Michigan did by filming signals in the stands and spending $15,000 on Connor Stallions and having him on Central Michigan sideline, that is illegal. That is classic whataboutism. You see it on political talk, you see it in life, you see it everywhere. What Michigan did was illegal. What Ohio State, Purdue, and Rutgers did was not illegal. Plain and simple. Stop with the whataboutism.
I have no problems if you want to buy a ticket, you sit in the stands with your iPad, with your camera that you can somehow sneak in with, whatever. And you want to try to steal signals or you want to try to learn a playbook, I'm okay with that. You start paying to have a scout on a sideline of a team that you're playing?
That's a problem.
That's bullcrap.
Yeah, well, it's illegal. It's just like, it's like the person getting pulled over and saying, well, officer, someone else is going faster than me. So, no, I pulled you over.
Right.
I got you. I didn't get that guy.
Right.
I'll get that guy. Will get his comeuppance at some other time.
Exactly.
But I got you. So I hate all this whataboutism. You see it so much in politics. It's bleeding in the sports world. What about this side? No, they didn't do what you did.
Right.
You broke the rules.
Right.
We're gonna take care of it.
Yeah. What about what you did?
And they're gonna have to reap it. And we talked about it just off air. They're not gonna get in trouble.
No.
Not this year.
Not this year.
No, and it's not going to matter. I mean, is they going to do like they done? They're going to take their title away from them if they win it, like they done Richie Bush's Heisman.
All right.
Okay, what's that done for you? Yeah. Nothing.
Yeah. I can't wait for this mess to be over because it's getting dumber. Like
it is getting dumber.
Now we found out that the guy was selling refurbished, vacuums out of his house, and they weren't really refurbished, and he has a side business with their starting running back. It's just getting crazy.
It's stupid.
No, and Jim Harbaugh had to know this was going down.
Right.
You will never convince me.
Never.
That
Plus,
guy
he had
did
4
not
weeks
know.
of downtime to mastermind it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, like we've talked. I mean, these head coaches know everything that's going on in their program.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Unless you're Mike Vrabel.
Yeah.
Of course, that's NFL. That's not college.
Yeah.
A lot more money in college football.
Sure.
All right, guys. Well, that will end it here for xSports Live here from Hinie's BBQ. So for Dusty Kaiser, for the voice of the Mustangs, Clint Brazier, for producer extraordinaire Kevin Wright, I'm AJ Good here. We'll see you guys once again next week.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the xSports Network.